career resilience. So now we're shifting from, we've been talking about the organization, the leaders, and the teams. Now let's start looking at ourselves, because we are a key piece of this whole process, this whole system, resilience systems that we have put in place. So in the BCI Continuity and Resilience Report last year, it shows a clear shift in the role of the business continuity professional. Today's BC managers are no longer just planners or framework owners. They are expected to combine technical expertise with strong communication, collaboration, and leadership skills, acting as a bridge between technical teams, business units, and senior leadership. We are the glue of the organization to actually keep things running when stuff happens. So looking ahead, the skill set continues to expand. Strategic leadership, risk management, and supply chain resilience are increasingly critical alongside crisis communication, cybersecurity awareness, and data-driven decision-making. You don't have to be an expert in everything, but you need to be aware of what they are, and you need to know who in your organization owns those different facets and build good, close working relationships with them. But the takeaway here for you personally, according to your career, the takeaway is simple. Career resilience in this field depends on continuous learning and the ability to operate across disciplines, not just within traditional business continuity boundaries. You will find in most organizations that business continuity and resilience has many different names, takes many different shapes, reports in all different lines within the organization, because every organization is different. So that is why, it's part of why, as you to remain relevant, and the career is you need to be, like I said, you don't have to be an expert, but you have to understand what each of these different disciplines are about and how they work together, so that you can help be that facilitator to bring the disciplines together to build that resilient organization. So moving on. Career resilience in practice. So what does this look like in practice? When we talk about career resilience, the first thing to understand is that it doesn't happen by chance. It is built deliberately over time through consistent choices and behaviors. A core foundation of career resilience is a continuous learning mindset. In a field like business continuity and resilience, where risks evolve, technologies change, and expectations shift, staying static is not an option. Resilient professionals actively seek to expand their knowledge and adapt their skill sets as the environment changes. Closely connected to this is networking within the continuity and resilience community. Career resilience is strengthened through connection. Engaging with peers, practitioners, and industry experts allows professionals to learn from real experiences, exchange perspectives, and avoid reinventing the wheel. These networks often become critical sources of insight during periods of disruption or career transition. Another key element is keeping skills current and relevant. This means staying informed about emergency practices, AI, standards, and expectations, but also understanding where your skills create the most value. Career resilient professionals regularly assess what they know, what they need to learn next, and how their capabilities align with organizational needs. Technology also plays an increasingly important role. Career resilience today includes the ability to leverage technology where it makes sense, not for the sake of novelty, but to enhance effectiveness. So this includes understanding how digital tools, analytics, and increasingly AI-enabled solutions can support and reimagine resilience programs, improve decision-making, and reduce operational friction. Staying connected to the field is equally important. Webinars, conferences, industry research, and professional publications are not optional extras. They are mechanisms for staying relevant, informed, and future-ready. They help professionals anticipate change rather than react to it. I can't say that loudly enough. I have benefited from getting to know many of you on this call through the various community opportunities we have, the webinars, the coffee chats, various other opportunities to network and share ideas and experiences. It's not only about having that support group, but it's also about upskilling yourself. I learned so much through all the things I've done throughout the community. My path through the BCI USA chapter, the various other leadership roles I've had there, and now sitting on the BCI board. All of those experiences helped me fine-tune my leadership skills and make me a better professional in my day job. Now I have left my day job and I'm now doing fun things like this on a regular basis. But I could not have succeeded as well as I did if I had not been able to build those skills. My executive leadership skills were pretty weak at the beginning, but through running through all of this journey that I've been on, I have really honed those skills. And now I'm getting to really enjoy using those skills on the BCI board. So it's about looking at your career and intentionally planning where you want to go and taking advantage of opportunities. Opportunities like this webinar today, and you've got Business Continuity Awareness Week coming up in May, and so many other opportunities. Do it. It makes a difference. It will help you. And finally, career resilience often requires intentional investment in advanced training and education, whether through advanced BCM courses, crisis management training, or broader business resilience education. These learning paths deepen expertise and expand professional horizons. I know many of you on this call have taken advantage of that and have grown because of it. And not only grown personally, but your network has grown, and therefore you have more resources to draw on a regular basis. The key message of this slide is simple. Career resilience is not something that happens to you. It is something you actively build. Those who invest in learning, connection, and a capability are far better positioned to adapt, grow, and remain relevant in an increasingly uncertain professional landscape. So moving on, let's look at career ownership and capacity building. Career resilience is not only about learning new skills, it's also about taking ownership of your professional trajectory. In a constantly evolving environment, relying solely on an employer or a role description to shape your career is increasingly risky. In fact, that's a recipe for disaster, in my mind. Career ownership starts with actively developing and transferring knowledge. Resilient professionals don't keep expertise to themselves. They train teams, mentor colleagues, and share practices. By doing so, they not only strengthen organizational resilience, but also reinforce their own value and relevance. I just did this when I was preparing to leave my job of 43 years. I was able to train my successor. I took ownership of that and I started that process. I didn't wait for somebody to tell me to do it. I took it upon myself, and it made a difference in the organization. Another important dimension is the willingness to explore different ways of working. Disruption often exposes the limits of familiar processes and habits. Professionals who experiment, challenge assumptions, and it's done are better equipped to operate under uncertainty and complexity. Again, only that, but you remain relevant within your organization. Stay in tune with what's happening. Where are things going? Adapt the way you address things. You know the fundamentals. You know what needs to be done. How you do it can change to map to what the organization can understand and embrace. Career resilience also means being prepared for change, even when it's unexpected. Having a plan B, C, or D, even D is not pessimism. It's professionalism. This includes being ready for role changes, organizational shifts, or new responsibilities, and having the confidence to navigate those transitions. Yeah, they're hard, but if you are intentional about it and you've done your preparation, you're ready to pivot when that time comes. A less visible but equally critical aspect of career ownership is preparing successors. I just touched on that a little bit. Training someone to take over your role may seem counterintuitive, but it is actually a sign of maturity and resilience. It reduces single points of failure, enables continuity, and positions you for growth rather than stagnation. Ultimately, career ownership requires a mindset shift. You are responsible for your career, not your employer. This means actively shaping your professional identity, developing your personal brand, and owning the value you bring to an organization. When professionals take ownership of their careers, capacity building becomes a shared process. Individual growth strengthens teams, teams strengthen organizations, and resilience becomes sustainable rather than dependent on a few key individuals. This is how career resilience moves from intention to long-term capability. So moving on, let's look at what the role that certification recognition and market value have. As we talk about career ownership and capacity building, the next question is often a very pragmatic one. How is this ever recognized? And how does it translate into long-term value? I know what I do within my own organization, but how does that translate outside of my organization if I have the opportunity to look elsewhere for employment? This is where certification plays a critical role in career resilience. Certification is not just about adding letters after your name. It provides external validation of your expertise, aligned with recognized standards and best practices. In a field as complex and evolving as business continuity and resilience, certification signals credibility, consistency, and professional maturity. The data from the BCI Continuity and Resilience Report 2025 clearly shows this impact. Professionals who are certified tend to see higher compensation, and that value increases with the number of certifications obtained. This reflects not only technical knowledge, but also commitment to continuous development. We also see that certain certifications are consistently associated with higher market value. This reinforces an important point. Career resilience is strengthened when skills are both relevant and recognized by the broader professional ecosystem. Beyond compensation, certification supports career mobility and longevity. It makes expertise portable across organizations, sectors, and geographies. In times of disruption, restructuring, or transition, this portability becomes a powerful resilience factor. But certification alone is never enough. Its real value comes when it is combined with experience, learning, and professional judgment. Certifications create a foundation. It's how individuals apply that foundation in real-world contexts that ultimately matters. And this is where career resilience naturally connects to individual resilience.